and welcome, and thanks for tuning in. If you stepped into a Melbourne cafe lately, you've probably heard it. We're targeting a top 20 VCE school. A year later, many families realized they optimized for the wrong scoreboard. They chased a rank, not a fit. And the schools that quietly deliver the best growth, well-being, and long-term success often sit nowhere near those flashy peaks. Here's the heart of it. League tables flatten a complex ecosystem into a single line. Melbourne's mix, government, Catholic, independent, selective entry, accelerated programs, and the VCE vocational major is far too nuanced for one list. If you're choosing a school by rank alone, you're chasing an illusion. I've watched it for over a decade. Let's unpack what rankings miss. First, selection effects. Selective entry schools, Melbourne High, Macrob, Nossal, Suzanne Corey, and many high-fee independents start with very strong cohorts. Their results say as much about who they enroll as about classroom impact. A top ATAR median shows the finish line without the starting line. The mindset shift: ask about value added, not just final scores. Second, ISIA, the Index of Community Socio-Educational Advantage, quietly shapes outcomes. Two schools 20 minutes apart can swap places once you adjust for ISIA. Most public league tables don't show that. If you want apples to apples, factor intake into the comparison and ask whether a school lifts students beyond what their background predicts. Third, subject mix and scaling. Schools that push specialist maths, physics, advanced languages, and other demanding scaled subjects may post lower raw medians because more students attempt tougher courses. That's not a teaching problem, it's a metric problem. Ambitious course selection can make a school look weaker on paper while actually preparing students better for uni. Fourth, growth beats snapshot. NAPLAN changed in 2023. New proficiency bands, and March testing. So pre-2023 comparisons are shaky. What matters now is growth. I look at years 5 to 7 and 7 to 9 trajectories. They say more about teaching impact than a static number. And then there are pathways. Since the VCE vocational major replaced VCAL, many schools doubled down on applied learning. League tables, their ATAR averages drop. Not because teaching got worse, but because fewer students are ATAR bound. For many kids, vocational pathways open doors to higher level TAFE, apprenticeships, and work. If you only read ATAR medians, you'll miss that the school is matching students to the right path. Two shifts matter right now. Well-being is a leading indicator. Post-pandemic cohorts show wider variance in literacy, numeracy, and mental health. Schools with robust counseling, targeted literacy and numeracy interventions, and smart attendance recovery tend to outperform over 4 to 6 years, even if the headline rank barely shifts. Look for tangible supports, dedicated well-being teams, partnerships with external services, flexible timetabling, and real attendance strategies. Digital literacy is non-negotiable. With AI and digital platforms moving fast, students need guidance on digital citizenship, academic integrity, and critical thinking. Some high-ranking schools are still catching up here. Others, often mid-table, are leading with thoughtful programs. Ask how teachers use AI, what guardrails exist, and how students learn to evaluate sources and avoid misinformation. Speaking of misinformation, it spreads fast. Viral hoaxes and sensational headlines can skew perceptions. Melbourne families need sober, data-literate frames. Go back to primary sources and ask for the data behind the claim. Let's tackle 2 stubborn misconceptions. Misconception 1: top of the table equals best teaching. Not necessarily. Selective entry and selective enrollment can float a school's rank without revealing classroom value add. The better test is growth. Longitudinal NAPLAN, VCE subject level progress from year 10 to 12, internal assessment moderation, how the school moves students along the curve. Some of the most effective teachers I've met work in schools that never cracked the top 20. yet routinely moves students from the 30th percentile to the 70th. League tables don't show that, but it's life-changing. Misconception 2. The median ATAR is the ultimate benchmark. A median compresses a complex story into one number. It hides whether the school stretches high flyers, supports strugglers, or excels at applied pathways. I want the distribution. How many at the top end? What proportion in the 70 to 90 band? What's happening with non-ATAR students? A lower median with a healthy spread, strong top-end results, solid middle growth, and robust outcomes for vocational learners can signal a school serving a diverse cohort well. Here's a quick exercise. Next time you look at a ranking, cover the numbers and ask, what would I need to know if rankings didn't exist? Then go hunt those answers. You'll shift from league table thinking to decision quality thinking. Use this checklist on school tours and in conversations. Fit first. What does your child need to thrive? Structure, breadth, acceleration, pastoral care, creativity, hands-on learning? Name it. ICCA and intake. Where does the school sit and how does it perform relative to intake? Ask for value-added or growth indicators. Growth data. Check NAPLAN growth since 2023. How are years 5, 7, and 7, 9 tracking? What interventions are in place? Subject mix. What proportion of Year 12s take advanced maths, sciences, languages, or extension studies? How is advice given on scaling and selection? ATAR distribution, not just median. Ask for outcomes across the spectrum, including entry to selective uni courses, TAFE, and apprenticeships. VCE vocational major. What applied options exist? How many students take them? What are the destinations? Wellbeing and attendance, counseling ratios, bullying and online safety responses, mental health supports, attendance recovery plans. Digital readiness. How are AI tools used? What's the approach to academic integrity and digital citizenship? Moderation and assessment. How is internal assessment quality assured? What professional learning is offered? Transitions and persistence. How are students supported moving into senior pathways and beyond Year 12? What are first-year persistence rates? Look for green flags on tour. Teachers who can name their growth strategies. Student work that shows drafts and improvement. Multiple pathways celebrated on notice boards, not just the ducks. Ask students what feedback looks like. Ask leaders how often they review learning data and what changes they've made because of it. If a school can only brag about the top 2 ATARs and can't show how they support the middle or lift the bottom, that's a red flag. Let's talk pressure. I've seen high-achieving students burn out at top-ranked campuses because the culture didn't fit their temperament or learning style. A pressure cooker might sharpen one child and crush another. Fit is not fluff, it's predictive. Think about your child's energy, interests, and resilience right now, not who you hope they'll be in 3 years. And a quick word on travel time. In Melbourne, long commutes sap sleep, exercise, friendships, and study time. If 2 schools feel comparable on educational value, the closer one often wins quality of life points you won't see on a league table. If you want a deeper dive, we've built a guide on choosing schools in Melbourne and reading VCE. NAPLAN and value-added data without getting misled. But even if you never read a guide, remember, rankings are a summary, not the story. The story is growth, well-being, and fit over time. So, what's the move? Define your child's needs. Gather the right data. Visit and ask better questions. Adjust to intake and subject mix. Consider all pathways. Keep your eyes on long-term outcomes like tertiary persistence and well-being, not just a single number in a newspaper. I'll leave you with this. The schools that quietly produce successful graduates are usually too busy teaching to game the system. When you look beyond the list, you'll see them. Steady, student-centered, adaptable. That's where your child's best fit education often lives. Thanks for listening, and good luck with your school search. If this helped, Share it with a friend who's staring at a league table right now and wondering what to do next.